Go.
Streaming from South Africa to the world. This is the Stonks Go Moon podcast. What just happened? We break it down so you don't have to.
Welcome everyone to the Stonks Go Moon podcast. My guest today, Robert Mennella. He is the founder of EQWITTY Research. Welcome back to the pod.
Thank you.
It's such a pleasure having you back. Such a pleasure seeing you do great things, progressing from where I sort of got to know you and where you are now. And we had an interesting discussion the other day. And you said to me that you feel sort of like an imposter, right? That you don't have enough social clout. And I said to you, but damn, you spent 3 decades on Wall Street. What fucking social clout do you need? It's an interesting sort of disposition that you are in, just in terms of everything that's going on in finance, and then now with people building platforms, people like yourself having to find, building a base, whereas I don't think it's necessary for you to do that.
Yeah, it's interesting. My journey has been pretty incredible just over the last 5 years, coming from being a financial advisor to transitioning to a content creator as something I've kind of had to learn on my own as I go by trial and error. And I've learned a lot on LinkedIn. There's a lot of good people, including yourself, that have helped me along the way. And so I kind of had this old school attitude that I brought to LinkedIn, and I learned there was this whole new world of social media that you had to connect with a lot of people. And it was really good because it gave me a lot of ideas so I could promote my posts and kind of bring my analysis and the stuff that I love about charts and candlesticks to everyone that I was connected to, so that I could kind of share my experience, because I really enjoy doing that.
Speak to me about the imposter syndrome. What does it feel like having all that experience, but having to go through that process of building a base?
Yeah. When you first start doing this, you don't know, what's going to happen. Every day you wake up and it's a new adventure. But there's so many people out there that are imposters, trying to say that they have the special sauce and they have the formula, and all you got to do is pay $1,500 to learn their system. And it's for the most of it, I think a lot of it is just nonsense and fluff. And that's why I try to just keep my strategy simple, so that people can understand it and it's comprehensive, and more importantly, so they can use it.
And that
so you don't really have to spend 6 months learning a strategy before you can hit the ground running. So in a way, I'm kind of like a small fish in a big pond. Because the big pond is full of sharks that are kind of making the rest of us good fish look bad. But I just keep being myself, and people are going to sign up for my subscription, if they like the service, if they get value, and it's really, I'm just going to keep going and cut out the noise.
But that's why people can relate to you. That's you're relatable in that regard. How long did you spend in financial advisory?
Wow, spent 30 years.
So full on 30, so not a part of 30, full on 30 years in advisory. How looking from the outside in, how has things changed in sort of the last couple of years since we've had this financial awakening? All the education is out there. You've got Twitter, you've got LinkedIn, all these resources. How's things changed?
It's changed, but it's also kind of stayed the same. Because everybody is looking for a quick fix. Everybody wants to make money quick. People are lazy. They don't want to do the work. They don't want to read the books. They want someone else to do it, and then pay them to do it for them. So that's why there's trillions of dollars in assets under management, and banks and brokerages make hundreds of billions of dollars every year in fees because people are generally lazy. This is not,
Yes.
it's not rocket science. It's something that anybody can apply to themselves and their own personal situation.
Because
So
you
don't
don't have,
necessarily
yeah,
hand
you
over
don't
your
have
money.
to think
Yeah.
about it, right? You just stick it into a BlackRock ETF and then you sort of forget about it. Because I saw this morning that even Kathy is down almost like from ARK, for those not familiar, ARK Investments. She's down like 60% this year in every single stock that they picked, right? And so it's people just basically putting in money into that fund and sort of forgetting about it.
Yeah, exactly. They get hooked by the personality and the persona of the person, kind of like what happened with FTX, right?
Yes, yes.
Everybody thought this guy was like some sort of boy wonder, and he was going to make everybody, billions of dollars. And at the end of the day, it was really looks to be like it was just like a Ponzi scheme.
Mm.
And it's really sad to think that all of these top-notch people and investors were tricked because none of them did the due diligence and got the right answers they should have gotten for their investors before putting it in the hands of this. I don't know how old he is, maybe he's 30. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
Well, I think it's something to do with that notion of altruism, right? And he caught everyone hook, line, and sinker. This notion that he represented something different. If you look at how he dressed, it's a far cry from the suits and the ties and stuff. It's like jeans and a t-shirt and talking about giving all his money away. Well, he was basically giving all his money away, just not in the fashion that he said he was gonna do it. But people basically followed him blindly, which circles. I mean, in a weird way, it circles back to advisory in the sense of just not asking any questions, just going into it blindly. And here we are on the cusp of 2023, and we still have this sort of same financial model.
Yeah, it's the herd mentality, and that never changes. So it really doesn't matter if it's the dot-com bubble or the real estate bubble or the crypto bubble. Everybody thinks that the person before them did enough homework for them to put their money into it. So if Bob did it, he's a smart guy, then I'm going to do it. And Bob assumes that the guy before him do it, so him did it. So it just becomes kind of like an avalanche and a set of dominoes that gets knocked down when everybody turns around and says, "Oh, wait a minute, Bob, you didn't do your homework. Oh, I should have done my homework." And people are learning the hard way, that if you do your homework, you're going to lose all your money.
Yeah.
And that's going to happen in the past. It's going to happen in the future. And it's going to happen in the present. If people are lazy and don't want to do their homework, or at least investigate the person or the type of strategy that they're using. There is Google, so people really don't have an excuse.
Before 2022, right? Any new financial market participant, I want to say trader or investor, but we'll get to that later. Any financial participant wasn't aware that you could lose money, and you could in fact lose all your money because you threw money at anything and you made a profit, right? And then sort of the end of free cash came. We still had the Fed that still signaled that it's not over, right? Inflation isn't gone. We've seen the pullback in the market coming again. So it's sort of funny that they that they realized this year, hey, it's not just about I can stick my money into anything and I'm gonna make money. There is a real risk of basically losing what you put in.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it happens generationally.
Yes.
Because once someone gets up enough money that they can invest, maybe they're in their early 30s or their 40s, and they've built up some savings and they want to invest, and they see everything going up and they see crypto going up forever. They just blindly throw their money in that. But the newbies or the newer investors, don't really look in the past and the pitfalls of what happens when you just put your money into something blindly. So that's why I think this is going to continue, because there will always be new investors, first-time investors, don't want to pick up a book. They want to just throw their money into it. And that's just basically gambling.
Yes.
So there's always going to be people that will think that they can put their money into something and it's automatically going to go up, regardless of if the disclosures are in there or not. You're going to have this happen again and again and again, unfortunately, because human nature really doesn't change, and neither does fear and greed.
Yeah, and the newbies seem to, because of all the ads and all the hype and everything on social media, they find trading first and then they sort of find investing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Everybody is searching for an answer that they're not going to get to quickly, because they don't want to turn around and do kind of a self-assessment of how they're going to go about this, instead of just throwing the money at something. And unfortunately, it's very easy for people to do that these days. Most every trading platform has a crypto area. You can buy crypto on your app in 2 seconds. So I think the biggest problem is that the ease of which you can put your money into it really allows people to make mistakes easier than if it was something where you had to go somewhere and read a brochure, or maybe sit down, or you went to Google and you found out a little bit what it's about.
Yes.
But you really got to do your homework. And if you don't do your homework, then you really don't have anyone to blame but yourself.
Yes, because even if you're investing in the assumption that all stocks just go up. And I drove underneath a billboard, it was last week. It says, "We make investing easy, invest in 2 minutes." And I'm like, that doesn't tell me anything, or that doesn't help anyone. It shouldn't be about the speed of investment. It should be about the reliability of the research and the guy that's running the fund. And even if it's not guaranteed returns, then the returns needed to be at least market related. So the speed has nothing to do with it, but we are so fixated on, it needs to be easy and it needs to be fast. So what?
Right. Yeah, that's I think the biggest issue is that when it becomes easy and fast, then it just becomes the same thing as going down and buying a lottery ticket.
Yeah,
because you're putting the same amount of effort into it, really.
Yeah, let's talk a bit about equity research. It's something I know that you started this year. First of all, why did you start it? Because honestly, it's not like you needed to do it. So what was your motivation there?
Well, I have this passion for charts, and it's just something that I love to do, recognizing patterns and signals and setups. And it's not really about the money. It's about the satisfaction of seeing your analysis come to fruition.
Yes.
And when you see something pay off, something you predicted happen, it gives you a good feeling. So I want to share that with others, because I don't think it's something that I should just keep to myself. And since I'm working from home, it's a great outlet to be able to talk to my customers and help them with their trades, and kind of educate them along the way on the charts. When I throw up a signal, they might not have heard before. So
because it's actually a little community that you're talking to every day.
Yes.
Right?
That's
like a friend. It's like, it's like a little community, right? So it's like, don't know how many people are there at the moment, but it's like,
24.
24.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's a nice little number that you've gathered there. But yeah, I mean, it's about that brother and sisterhood, and just like sort of being in the trenches together. I find it's really helpful in that scenario. Okay, so we've established sort of the why, but what impressed me more is the last couple of months were your calls, right? Because you put all your calls out there, and they the majority of them have been really good. I mean, I'm not talking about double digits, whereas the actual market performance wasn't that great. And even people with similar services were very quiet. And so now you must tell me if I'm wrong, but I think it's because of the length of time that you've sort of spent in the market and watching charts. Because most people, if you've like 5 or 10 years experience, it wouldn't have been enough to basically get through this year in the fashion that you did. Am I right there, or what's it all
No,
about?
no, you're absolutely right. I mean, you have to have the years behind you in order to have a little bit of an intuitive feeling sometimes.
Yes, that gut. Yeah.
So yes, there are the charts, and then there are the graphs, and there is the math, but there's also the gut feel that you get from time to time that
Because
tells
there's
you,
fake outs and head shakes and stuff like that
yeah,
that
yeah,
also happens. And that's where, if you've seen something 1,000 times, it
right.
sort of becomes muscle memory. It's
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 muscle
hard
memory,
to explain to someone.
right? Yeah, it's a pattern itself. It's kind of
Yes.
like I honestly do get like a little bit of a gut in my in the bottom of my gut. I do have a feeling when I'm like, uh-oh, this isn't
Yeah.
going to be good. Let me get the heck out. Or oh wow, look at that. That thing's taking off. Let's put some money there.
Yes.
So
Yes.
so yeah, I've been, I follow for the most part the S&P 500,
Mm.
oil, gold, and a bunch of stocks. And I started on November 5th, and all of the trades that I post on Patreon
Mm.
are incorporated into a simulated account that I'm using on my TradeStation platform.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this way we can develop a track record of
Transparency as well,
myself.
right? It's walking the talk.
Transparency as
Yeah.
well.
Transparency,
Yeah,
walking the talk, that type of thing.
yeah. Any client that wants to look at the simulated account, can request it. I'll send them a screenshot in
Yeah.
real time, and they'll
Yeah.
get that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely all about the transparency. I also
Yeah.
post the trades with the videos
Mm.
on Patreon, and the videos are 1 minute, 2 minutes long tops. So it's not like you got to sit through a 10-minute. I know people's time is very valuable, and right, the attention span is also getting shorter and shorter.
Yes.
So I don't think I can. I think I can get it any shorter than a minute, but a minute or two, and the price is right. I mean, $29.95 per month
It
to get the
basically
things.
pays for itself. Two
You
quick
know,
questions.
before
Yeah.
you before
Yeah.
before you say something else, I did get a really good note from one of my connections on LinkedIn yesterday. He thanked me for the Tesla short, because I recommend shorting Tesla a little bit
Mm.
under 200, and
Mhm.
we just covered it, made like 18%. So he says, now that I've made a little bit of money in the Tesla short, I have the money to sign up for your service. I said, wow. I said, that's the dream.
Well, yeah, 18% would probably, it's like half a year's worth of services. But
Right.
that's what I wanted to ask you before I let you leave, as two quick
Okay.
questions. What was your favorite trade
Mm.
since starting equity research? That's the first
Mm.
question. What's your
Okay.
favorite trade?
The favorite trade is going to have to be the Tesla trade, because that was
Okay.
one of the first trades we put on. Keep
Okay.
in mind, we started on November 5th,
Yes.
right? So we're only 5 weeks into this,
Yeah,
five
it
or six
feels
weeks
like
into
months, man. Sorry, I
it. Feels
keep
like
saying
months,
months, but it
right?
feels like months. But it's because I've known you so long. That's why.
Yeah, yeah. The days are pretty long. So it's not just watching the market and doing
Yes.
my analysis, but it's also trying to grow the business
Yes.
as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
I'm trying to grow my subscribers, and I might come out with some sort of holiday special to
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
some more
Okay.
people on board. But I do think that my research speaks for itself,
Yeah.
and I'm not looking for anybody to trust me, out of the blue. You can certainly go
Mm.
into my posts in LinkedIn. They're up there for years and years. I think one of my biggest macro calls has got to
Yes.
be real estate.
I wanted to ask, what's the best
Okay.
calls, right? So we covered the favorite one, the one that gave you the most satisfaction. What was the best one?
The best one.
Highest ROI, I guess. This is how I would classify best.
I would say probably the Head and Shoulder top when the market topped out.
Yeah.
That was I didn't catch the exact top, but in one of my posts I talk about the Thomas Bolkowski is a famous technician, and he had published his own research on tops and bottoms, and his Bolkowski 1-2-3 trend change method kind of appeared to me in the chart. And even though I didn't catch the exact top, I was looking at like 460, 470 when the market started coming down. We saw a lot of bearish signals, a lot of topping patterns, double tops and bearish engulfings. And so definitely S&P top. It was one of my best calls. Oil top was one of my best calls. The other one was
those are all 20 plus. Those should be all 20 plus % moves, right?
Oh, easily. Yeah. And then
because what I like about your research, sorry, I'm interrupting you, but what I like, it's like the returns are substantial. You don't make a lot of calls, but I would rather have one a week, one every 2 weeks, than take like 2% here or 3% there, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, the thing I have to be very careful about is not to try to push out ideas and posts just for the sake of it.
Yes.
I want it, because my whole thing has been, I've really liked to wait until an opportunity comes to me. So I'll just kind of like keep my feelers out there and wait for something to happen. If you go out there and, you try to make something happen, or you cut corners, or you don't follow all your rules, then it's a slippery slope. Once you start sliding down the slope, you're just gambling again.
That's a good lesson for all newbies out there. It's like, stick to your plan. Don't go looking for trades. Let them come to you. Know what you're looking for. Know what you're waiting for. Robert, thank you so much for joining me today. If the listeners want to go connect with you and find out more about what it is that you do, where can they do that?
Well, you can either follow me on LinkedIn. Equity Research is also on Patreon. That's the page where I throw my posts out there, and it's Patreon, patreon.com/equity, EQWITTY.
Very clever, very clever. Equity, like it. Robert, thank you so much for joining us today. To our listeners, peace, love, and prosperity, and we'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.